We just welcome great spirits and the presence of the good Lord in our midst. As this morning, we are here for one specific purpose, and that is to sign an agreement, letter of intent between the Republic of Cuba and the Commonwealth of Dominica for implementation of our work program for technical cooperation on agriculture, fisheries, and agribusiness in Dominica. Let me first of all recognize in our presence the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Roland Roy, accompanied with Honorable Julian Defoe, Minister of State with responsibilities for fisheries, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Lakia Joseph, with responsibilities for community enterprise, cottage industries. We have with us Ambassador Hugo Ruiz, Ambassador to the Republic of Cuba, Dominica, and Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Diosnel San Ois of the Republic of Cuba. He is the Deputy Minister of Agriculture. He's accompanied by the Director of Livestock, Ms. Ame Gar, the International Relations Coordinator in Ministry of Agriculture, Jose Guedes Ganzanas. We also have Mr. Pedro Alfonso, who is the Director of Plant Health in the Ministry of Agriculture in Cuba. They are here on a special mission, which is to develop the modalities for implementation of the technical cooperation between Dominica and Cuba on agriculture. This initiative, which was triggered off in April of 2022 on the visit of the Prime Minister in Cuba last year, he has decided on his return that he's placing priority on the agricultural sector. And he also made the pronouncement that we are required to allow agriculture to produce up to $700 million by 2030 as contribution to GDP. And so, as part of this, in the pursuit of this target, we have decided to set up a number of technical cooperation, recognizing that we cannot do it alone. And our first party was to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Cuban government last year, August, and we are now at the stage of actually having our first implementation activity, which is a technical delegation mission here by the team of our Cuban compatriots in the Ministry of Agriculture. We want to extend a special welcome to all those who are present in the media. We want to recognize with us the Director of Agriculture, Mr. Ricky Brumant, the Chief Fisheries Officer, Mr. Derek Field. Also with us, Head of Plant Quarantine, Mr. Laville, and other members of staff, Ryan Anslem, as Head of Technical Services, our Agricultural Officer, Mr. Dr. Al-Kazimi, and other members of our staff here that is present with us, including Kian Stevenson, Head of Extension. Welcome this morning to this very short and timely ceremony where we'll be signing off our letters of intention. At this time, I would like to invite the Ambassador to give us our opening remarks, general remarks on the event.
Good.
Yes.
The Vice President will do it. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I will invite to the podium Deputy Minister Diosnel San Ois to give us some remarks on our initiative. Deputy Minister.
Lady.
Vamos a ver cómo Nelson nos asiste. Excelentísimo señor ministro de la Agricultura de la Comunidad de Dominica,
The excellent minister for the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy,
invitados e invitadas.
Invited guests and invited guests and the media.
En nombre del Gobierno de la República de Cuba,
In the name of the government of the Republic of Cuba,
permítame agradecerle por su amable invitación
allow me to express my gratitude for your invitation
para realizar esta visita de trabajo a su bello y hospitalario país.
to be able to do this task and to visit and to allow us to strengthen our collaboration,
Cumpliendo indicaciones del presidente de la República de Cuba, Miguel Mario Díaz-Canel Bermúdez.
respecting and honoring the wishes of our president, Miguel Mario Díaz-Canel Bermúdez.
Cuba y Dominica, como miembros de estados insulares del Caribe,
Cuba and Dominica, being members of the Caribbean,
se proponen llevar a cabo una colaboración bilateral en materia agroalimentaria,
have proposed the collaboration of bilateral relations in agriculture,
que abarca varios sectores de las áreas de agricultura y pesca.
which includes various areas of fisheries and agriculture.
Con la firma de esta carta de intención, Cuba ratifica el compromiso de contribuir con los pueblos amigos.
With signing of this letter of intention, Cuba is ratifying its promise to work along with its partners in the region
y compartirle los modestos resultados alcanzados en la agricultura y actividad de pesca por nuestro país.
and it allows us to share our modest gains in agriculture and fisheries,
Contribuyendo así a la implementación del plan para lograr que la isla de Dominica se declare resiliente.
and it also allows Cuba to be part of Dominica's trust to become resilient.
No quisiera finalizar mi intervención sin antes agradecerles y ratificarles la voluntad del gobierno cubano
Before I end, I would like to express the intervention and
ratificar la voluntad del gobierno cubano
and to thank the efforts of the Republic of Cuba
de fortalecer los estrechos vínculos de colaboración, amistad y solidaridad entre los pueblos de Cuba y la mancomunidad de Dominica. Muchas gracias.
and to allow us to continue to strengthen our relationships where Cuba has promised to work through collaboration, friendship, and solidarity with its regional partners, especially in this case, the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like to invite to the podium the Honorable Roland Roy to give us our remarks.
Deputy Minister of Agriculture from Cuba. I won't attempt to pronounce the name because I'll be safe for the entire day. Ambassador, I'm from Cuba. Minister Defoe and my colleague Palsec, Lakia Joseph, members of staff of Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, our technical team from Cuba, head of plant protection and head of livestock. Good morning, the press. Good morning, all. Thank you for being here this morning to this important signing of a letter of intent. In August 2022, the ministry entered a memorandum of understanding to establish a general framework of cooperation between the Ministries of Agriculture and Fisheries of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the Republic of Cuba, based on the principles of mutuality, friendship, collaboration, and shared interests in the development of our respective island states. This was triggered by an official visit of the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Rivers Carriot, in Havana, in response to an invitation from the Cuban president in April 2022. We have initiated cooperation activities by hosting a technical delegation headed by the Deputy Minister of Agriculture of Cuba, along with 3 technical specialists from April 26 to May 5th, 2023. The delegation has spent the past few days evaluating the state of agriculture in Dominica and has identified key areas of technical cooperation consistent with the commitment made in the MOU and our national program to pursue the target set for the agricultural sector. The priority activities from the framework for implementation of activities or actions on technical cooperation in agriculture, fisheries, and the agro-processing sector. There are 10 key actions identified, with consideration to be given to other areas of cooperation of mutual interest that may emerge and added within the period of implementation. These are as follows. 1, technical cooperation. We'll encourage bilateral cooperation in the field of agriculture, fisheries research, through the exchange of biological and genetic material, modern and appropriate technologies, exchanges of experts, organization of workshops, training, and capacity building. 2, germplasm. We'll exchange in germplasm adapted to local conditions, introduction and exchange of new varieties of plants and breeds of livestock and fisheries, transfer of technology, and plant propagation and livestock breeding. 3, agricultural health. We'll exchange information, technologies, methodologies, expertise on biological control for integrated pest and disease management, cooperation in the field of livestock, fish, soil, plant health, as well as production and use of bioproducts. 4, livestock production will increase capacity to apply artificial insemination and embryo transfer and production systems to increase local milk and meat production. 5, crop production. We will increase capacity to produce tree crops, roots and tubers, field crops and vegetables and ornamentals. 6, research and development. We'll undertake joint research and development projects on production system, management of inventory, alternative inputs, animal feeds, plant nutrition, local fodder, forage crop, composting, and vermiculture, taking advantage of the institutional capacities of both countries. 7, sustainable agriculture and resilience. We'll exchange best practices in production and early warning system and experiences on climate change mitigation. 8, agricultural engineering and infrastructure. We'll undertake soil and water management, agromet, integrated production system, and the application of irrigation technologies and appropriate tools and equipment. 9, agricultural education and training. We'll undertake exchange of specialist experts, producers, and students on short-term and long-term training. And 10, agricultural investment will explore opportunities for private-public sector investment in agriculture, fisheries, and agro-processing, and leveraging external resources for exchanging technical cooperation. Today, we will sign a letter of intent that represents the framework for the fulfillment of these 10 collaborative actions, along with a plan to create a mechanism to facilitate implementation. So today, we want to thank the Cuban delegation for the work they have been doing on the island thus far, and I also want to take the opportunity to express our gratitude for the support provided by the Prime Minister and the technical staff in hosting of our technical delegation. We look forward to the immediate implementation of these actions and a fruitful collaboration with our friends in Cuba. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. At this time, we'll have the official ceremony of signing of the letter of intent.
So it's together in the picture?
Yes.
Right, so this is DBS Radio. We are live at the Ministry of Finance Conference Center, and signing ceremony taking place between the Ministry of Agriculture and the delegation of Cuban technicians in the Ministry of Agriculture. So the signing ceremony is now taking place, and as we said before, it's a delegation from the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Cuba. They are now signing that letter of intent with personnel from the Ministry of Agriculture. Right, so the signing ceremony is still on the way. I will have a short word with Ryan Anselm. Ryan Anselm of the Ministry of Agriculture. Say good morning to you, Mr. Ryan Anselm.
Good morning, Curtis, and good morning to your listeners.
Talk to us about the importance of this signing ceremony here at the Ministry of Finance Conference Center.
Yeah, this ceremony is extremely important, knowing that we have been given a target of 700 million of GDP contribution to the GDP of Dominica. And the experience of Cuba has shown that they are resilient, and they have over the years developed their economy in pushing the agriculture sector. And so we have lots of technology and innovation to adopt from Cuba. And so this ceremony is basically to firm a technical cooperation agreement that was promised by the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett and the President of Cuba. And so we are here this morning with the Vice Minister and Deputy Minister of Cuba to firm up that agreement, but at the technical level, and to put areas into motion and how we can build capacity to move the agriculture sector.
The Honorable Julian Defoe to share with us on fisheries initiatives and to give a vote of thanks for our event. Honorable Defoe.
Okay, good morning, everyone. With the protocol having already been established, I just wanted to, on behalf of the ministry and the minister specifically responsibility for fisheries, just to a bit highlight out of this broad letter of intent the key area of interest for fisheries, just to get the notion that it is not only from agriculture-based perspective, where the cooperation lies. And out of the letter of intent, some embedded within the various areas of cooperation, so fisheries will receive some much needed attention, and that is in our effort to contribute towards the objective and the target for 2030 of 700 million. So we do intend to make a meaningful contribution, and then in the area of cooperation, we will look at aquaculture. As we know, our compatriots in the Republic of Cuba are well versed in the technology of aquaculture, and also in other areas of technology transfer. As you know, Dominica, we have a relatively wide exclusive economic zone compared to or the size of our land mass. So we'll be looking at an incorporation area to look at technologies to make better use of the resources that we have in our wider ocean space. And thirdly, but not last, very important is the aspect of food safety. And we know the Cubans are very well capable and have the technology and the know-how to help us in meeting our food safety requirements, and not only to meet export requirements, but for the domestic market also, which is paramount. So the idea is to propose, as long as you have mastered all your food safety techniques, what is good for the export market is also good for the people at home. So these are the few areas of cooperation at this moment. As you know, there will be further bilateral discussions where we may have to narrow down on more concrete initiatives which will be made known to the general public. So with these few words, I would like to say thank you to our compatriots and technician minister from the Republic of Cuba, and also for thanking the government of Dominica for taking the initiative to invite this delegation to Dominica. I know they worked very hard for the past few days, but not only they have worked hard, but we also had the opportunity to showcase, outside of hard work, a bit of the courtesies on our social life. And I know they enjoyed very much the Jazz Festival in Portsmouth on Sunday. So they're going back with not the image of Dominica as hardworking people, but people who can socialize and also have a very good time. So we look very forward for very urgent action. So this letter of intent does not stop here. In previous discussions with the minister, he has indicated that they will be taking very swift and urgent action, and will be doing so on our side to make this intentions in this document materialize. So once again, I want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for coming, the media, for your coverage, the technicians who have worked extremely hard. I must single out Ryan, who has been leading the delegation at all hours. So a special thank you to him, and the rest of the team of the ministry and other ministries which had to contribute at one point or another as we are here today. So my own honorable minister, the staff of our own ministry, thank you to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. And that brings an end to our formal session. We can have any questions or reactions that you may want to pose. You are free to ask us a few questions. And also we have a photo op moment here.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Right, so that's the end of the ceremony here this morning at the conference center of the Ministry of Finance. We've just seen a letter of intent signed between the Ministry of Agriculture and a delegation of Cuban technicians, of course, including the Deputy Minister for Agriculture of Cuba, and of course that letter of intent being signed between the Minister of Agriculture and the delegation from Cuba. The minister outlining a number of actions that will be taken as Dominica looks to at least generate $700 million from gross domestic product for Dominica by 2030. The Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Roland Roy, outlining a number of initiatives, a number of steps to be taken as Dominica looks towards gaining and generating some $700 million for agriculture, for GDP for 2030. We will speak with one or two of the officials here at the conference center of the Ministry of Finance in just a while, as the officials get set to take a few pictures. A number of officials from the Ministry of Agriculture are here, together with the Minister of Agriculture himself, Roland Roy, and quite a few of the delegation from Cuba. So a number of them are here at this signing ceremony. As we said before, a number of the officials from the Ministry of Agriculture, and as they pose for one or two pictures here at the Ministry of Finance Conference Center. We will have a word with Mr. Ryan Anselm of the Ministry of Agriculture in just a while, as we talk a little about this signing ceremony here. So Mr. Anselm, we started a short discussion about the significance of this signing ceremony, and as you said before, the Ministry of Agriculture has, of course, announced a number of initiatives going forward to build back the agriculture sector, and I believe this signing is part of what is expected to come.
Yes, Curtis. As earlier indicated, Cuba has been resilient for over 60 years, in the sense that they have used their natural resources to push their development in agriculture. And so what we're here to do is to see how we can adopt some of the best practices, especially in the area of sustainable agriculture. We're looking at to exchange of genetic materials in plants, in livestock, and so bringing some vigorous planting materials such as mangoes, guavas, and to have them assist us in our citrus industry, our cocoa, coffee, and coconut industry. And so that is the area that we're looking for plant and for livestock, and how we push the pork subsector, the poultry subsector, and particular of interest is our small ruminants. And we are not forgetting fisheries, and we're looking at how we build the mariculture, aquaculture with Cuba itself. But the cooperation, Curtis, is not only benefiting from Cuba, it's a bilateral, and we have engaged the Cubans and also to support them in areas of boat building or basic fishermen costs and things that we can bring to them in terms of our resilience in terms of climate change. And so the message that we are sending is a bilateral cooperation on agriculture to move our agriculture forward.
I want to wish you all the best. Thank you very much. And we are hoping that as the Ministry of Agriculture continues to introduce these measures, one will see the revival of the sector here in Dominica.
Yes, good is. We also want to take the opportunity to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his initiative with the President of Cuba and our Minister Roland Roy for really implementing the letter of intent and cooperation. And so we are poised to push the agricultural sector with our friends. And one of the areas that we have learned over the years with Cuba, let us use what we have, our natural resources, to produce our animal feed, to produce fertilizer, and Cuba will bring that technology to us and to eat local. Let us start learning these lessons from the Cuban. Use your own natural resources, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. And so we want to install that in our population and for us to move agriculture. Food security is a key for us, and so that is the area that we want to do. Agriculture is very important, and the Cubans are going to help us in developing our agriculture sector.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ryan Anselm of the Ministry of Agriculture. We are here at the conference center of the Ministry of Finance. We will now have a short word with the Honorable Lakia Joseph. Ms. Joseph, good morning to you.
Good morning, Curtis, and good morning to the listeners.
Yes, tell us a little about in your view, the importance of this ceremony here this morning.
Well, Curtis, the importance is underrated, and I can tell you that I think it's long overdue, and it's very important that we strengthen our relations with persons we know who can assist us. And in order for us to reach our goals and the target that we set for agriculture by 2030, or at least surpass that, we need to strengthen our ties and our relations, especially the diplomatic ones, and in this case, it's with Cuba.
Right, and what would you expect this signing to do for Dominica and most of the agricultural sector?
Well, at this moment, the agricultural industry has already been taken to another level, and we are very fortunate to have 3 ministers in the Ministry of Agriculture, and we've been working very ferociously to ensure that we see the developments and the economic benefit of investing in agriculture, and this letter of intent will continue to do just that.
I want to wish you all the best. Thank you very much. So that's the Honorable Lakia Joseph speaking to us about the signing of this letter of intent between the government of Cuba and the Ministry of Agriculture, of course, in the government of Dominica. We want to thank you very much for joining us this morning. Our 1:15 news will expound a little more on what actually happened here this morning. On behalf of Dean Thomas, Curtis Matthew, returning you to Master Control, Studio One, and DBS Radio.